Champions, thanks to Barking Dog Marketing, let's bring our guests on for today. Now, the first guest is the man behind Barking Dog Marketing, Mr. Paul Fitzgerald. Welcome to the Armchair Champions. Fitzy, how are you, mate?
Good, Macca. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad for a rainy day. Could be worse. Could be snowing still, but weather's going good. So ISO life's still going all right.
Yeah, mate, it's going well. Obviously, I'm in one of the affected LGAs, so we can't travel too far, but I'm sure we're doing it better than most. So we've just got to battle through it.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. That brings into our next two guests. And I'll tell you what, one of them's just come home after winning the vacant WBC bantamweight title, and the other one went 12 rounds with Joshua Franco for the WBA Superflyweight belt. Welcome to the Armchair Champions, Jason and Andrew Moloney.
Thanks very much, mate. Appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, not a problem. Jason, let's start off with you, mate. Congratulations on winning the vacant belt. What does this do for you, this belt? Because you have won a few before, but what does this also do for your boxing reputation?
Yeah, it was good to get the win and pick up the vacant silver strap. So the WBC silver title, I guess, is for me anyway just a giant step towards achieving my dream of becoming world champion. So all the champions are pretty tied up at the minute. So I obviously wanted to get in the ring with, a good, solid, opponent. And we took on Joshua Greer, who was rated number 4 in the world at the moment. And yeah, it was great to get back in action. It had been nearly 10 months since my last fight, which unfortunately was a loss against the pound for pound monster Anui. Yeah. So yeah, really wanted to get back in the ring after a long layoff. Beat a good opponent and put myself right back up the rankings and take a giant step towards becoming a world champion. So yeah, it was good to get a good win. Hopefully that'll do really good things with me moving up the ratings, and hopefully there's some big opportunities coming my way soon.
Jason, how did it feel getting back in the ring? Obviously you mentioned you had that big fight against Inoue, pound for pound, one of the best in the world. What was it like getting back in the ring and fighting Josh Greer back in the States?
Yeah, it was really great to be back in action. Since that loss, obviously I've been in the gym every day, working extremely hard. After losing, I was extremely motivated to get back and come back better and stronger. And I was working really hard in the gym for 9 months. I didn't want to have that long of a layoff. We tried really hard to get our fights on in Australia, but with the current COVID situation and being very difficult to bring in opponents from overseas and whatnot, it just made it impossible. So rather than still waiting and trying to work through that, we just basically gave up on that and said, we'll go back to America. Let's get back over there and keep fighting. And get back to, winning and get myself back in the mix. Because, obviously I was, disappointed after the defeat, but I know that what I'm capable of, and I know that I'm not going to let that loss sort of, stop me or define me. So I want to get back, have a good win and get back in that title hunt.
Yeah, no, good one, mate. Now, Jason, your opponent Greer has a nickname, Don't Blink. And do you think if you're going to go out with a nickname like that, you probably should listen to yourself first? Because I tell you what, you got some bloody good jabs in there. You've done a lot of blinking.
I don't think he's got about 10 nicknames, Greer. He calls himself up, Don't Blink, Night. He brought the pillow out at the Wayne to try and, I guess, say he was going to put me to sleep. But obviously that didn't happen.
What's his next one? Beltless?
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, he's a pretty strange character. He's pretty out there, and it was good to shut him up.
Jason, it was a super impressive performance against Greer. You look sharp, you look slick. How do you rate your own performance? Obviously, being probably your toughest critic.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a pretty tough critic, so I was happy to get the win, but watching it back, I was a little bit disappointed, I guess. I know that even though I thought I won the fight pretty comfortably, I know that I could have gone up a gear, and I know that if I had to really sort of put my foot on the pedal, that I probably could have stopped him at any stage from sort of round 5 onwards. And I guess being that there was a lot on the line and the fact that what I was doing was working and I was outboxing him pretty comfortably and thought I was winning just about every round, I guess I probably just stuck to what was working. I probably, looking back on it now, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And I sort of think I could have, upped the tempo and taken him out, and probably would have been a lot more of an impressive victory. But at the end of the day, I did get the win, and it does open up some big opportunities for me moving forward.
Well, speaking about that, three of the judges, two of them gave it 98, 92, and then the other one gave it 96, 94. And listening to yourself there, where you were pretty comfortable, you got the win. Was that third judge? Did you sit there when when it was being read and think, oh God, we've got the French judge from the Olympics here. What's going on? They're not watching the same thing we are.
Yeah, well, when they, I guess whenever you go to the score, the scorecards, you're always thinking, geez, I hope nothing silly happens here. And when they said 98, 92, I was like, oh, great. They've been fair. Yeah. I thought that was pretty accurate. And then when they said 96, 94, I thought, yeah, that's a bit rough. But I knew I had the win, so I wasn't too worried. But listening back, actually watching the fight back, the American commentators anyway had the fight pretty close. And they sort of were saying 96, 94. And Tim Bradley even said he thought that the fight could be called as close as a draw, which, I thought was pretty ridiculous. But, as long as the judges got it right at the end of the day, I'm happy. But, I didn't think it was a close fight.
Didn't look it.
Jason, now ranked number 6 in the world by the WBC and number 5 in the world by the IBF. And today it was announced WBO. What's next for you?
Yeah, well, I just want to fight for a world title again as soon as possible. So, it's great that I'm ranked pretty high across the board now. I would love the opportunity to fight Nonito Donaire, who's the WBC champion at the moment, or the WBO champ, John Riel Casimero. But the division's a bit tied up at the moment. One of them is going to end up fighting a Nui in a unification fight before the end of the year, I think. So whoever doesn't get the fight, I'd love to fight them for the belt. But I just want to stay active. I don't want to be sitting on the sideline for another 9 months. So I really want to fight before the end of the year. And if I can't get one of the champions, then anyone in the top 5, another solid test that's going to, make me a better fighter and keep me busy. That's what I'm after. So, I just want to get out again as soon as possible and rack up another good win and hopefully fight for a world title as soon as possible. And I know that when that fight comes around that I'll be ready.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice one. Andrew, let's go on to you, mate. Your fight there, you went the full distance against Franco. Now, Fitzy and I were both watching this fight back here in Australia, obviously, and I texted Fitzy a couple of times going, you just got to let him fight. What's this umpire doing? It's like a parrot on the side of his shoulder. It really sort of ruined the spectacle, but it could tell watching it from afar that it was sort of bothering you as well. It sort of threw you off your game. How'd you find it?
Yeah, it did. Unfortunately, I think there was a bit of pressure on the referee after the controversy in our second fight against Franco. So probably a lot of pressure on him and probably forced him to be sort of on my back quite a lot and really pulling me up for every little mistake. And every time we got in a clinch, he was warning me. And it was getting to a stage pretty early in the fight where I was getting worried that he was going to take a point from me. So you're right. I don't want to use an excuse, but it did make it hard for me to settle into the fight and to get into my rhythm because it was just having that thought in the back of my head that everything I'm doing here is pulling me up and
scrutinise.
It's quite unsettling.
You were definitely the aggressor in the fight, that's for sure.
Sorry, say that again.
Early on the fight, you were definitely the aggressor. So, you were the one actually doing the most work early on. So that would be pretty daunting having that in the back of your head going, oh shit, this is going to be taken off me again if I do the wrong thing.
Yeah, definitely. And we did end up sort of clinching quite a lot. It was probably, end up being a little bit scrappy, but, some of that was my part. I will take, the blame for that. But some of it was also Franco holding me. Yeah. And even when that was the case, I was still getting warned by the referee and sort of taking the blame for everything. So it, a little unsettling, but at the end of the day, there were some mistakes I made, and I've just got to look at that to, to learn from that and to come back better next time.
Well, I think the disappointing thing was the referee was anticipating there was going to be a head clash. There was no head clash in the second fight, and obviously that was a clear robbery, and the whole world agrees with that. But they're anticipating something which didn't happen in the second fight, and it was never going to happen in the third fight. So it was, in my view, completely unnecessary. But look, it was what it was. You were super impressive in the early rounds. Jab was sharp. You were definitely outworking Franco. It looked like it was essentially a continuation from the second fight, which was amazing. What do you think changed, and what do you think Franco brought to this fight, which allowed him to eventually get on top?
Yeah, that's right. I've probably felt the first 2 rounds I was starting to get into a similar rhythm to what I had in that second fight, where I was basically just outboxing Franco from long range and doing it quite comfortably. But he, credit to him, he made some adjustments sort of throughout that fight, and rather than just coming forward and putting pressure on like he did in the past and what I was prepared for, he sort of made some adjustments and started to use his feet a little bit and to use some of his own boxing skills. And unfortunately, a few little mistakes that I made that, maybe me being a couple of % off from my best, unfortunately cost me a lot of those close rounds and cost me the fight overall. And, at that level, that's all it takes to be just a couple of % off your best and him to be very good on the night. And that's the difference between winning and losing at that level. And just got to give him credit. He fought very well that night. Unfortunately, probably not my best performance, but as I said, I've just got to look back on that fight now and fix those mistakes and make sure that I come back better next time. And I'm very confident that I'll do that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
One thing's for sure, he definitely learned after the second fight to keep his eye away from your fist. So that was pretty obvious in that third fight. But, mate, what's up next for you? I mean, you've let no one down here in Australia. Everyone's so proud of you for what you have done. And the fact you've only lost 2 fights and it's to that same bloke. What is next on the radar for you? Surely you want to keep active as well?
Yeah, no, thanks for that firstly. But yeah, definitely. That's I'm just so determined right now to get back in the ring and to fix those mistakes and to move forward with my career. I really want to get back in the ring before this year finishes. Hopefully we can make that happen, and hopefully we'll have a fight in Australia, because it's been quite a while now since we've done that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd love the opportunity to fight here in Australia, to get a good win under my belt and to push me up the ratings, particularly in the WBO, where I think is probably the fastest route back to a world title for me. The world champion, Kazuto Ioka from Japan, who's a very good fighter. He's a 4-division world champion. He fights next week, and I'd love the opportunity to fight the winner of that fight as soon as possible. So I look to get a win, hopefully with a WBO regional belt on the line to push me up those rankings, and just want to get back in the picture of fighting for a world title as soon as possible, because that's the level I want to be at. And my last 4 fights have all been for world titles, and that's where I want to get back to.
Well, I think the one thing for both of you guys is you haven't strayed away from fighting the best in your respective divisions. You guys have never taken easy fights. You've always fought the best. Jason with Inouye and Andrew with Joshua Franco. So you guys have always fought the best. So I don't think it'll be long before you back up the top again, for sure.
Yeah, that's right. And, that's like Andrew said, that's where we want to be. Like you said, we've never shied away from a challenge, and we're both willing to fight anyone in the division. And, we know we got what it takes to beat these guys. We just, need to learn our lessons. Unfortunately, we've had some setbacks, but we've always shown that we learn from those losses and we come back stronger.
Now, guys, did you watch any of the boxing in the Olympics?
Yeah, with the time difference in America, we found it a bit tough. But, yeah, we always got up the next day and made sure we caught up with as much as we could, especially the Aussies. And, it was sensational to see them do so well. And, For Harry Garside in particular to come back with a medal,
Yeah.
first boxer in 33 years to win a medal was just incredible. So, yeah, well done to all the Olympians. They did us proud.
And what sort of advice would you give Harry, being in that situation yourself, Andrew, where you went to the Commonwealth Games the first time, came back with no medal, but regrouped, came back and got the gold the next time? Is there some sort of advice you'd sit him down besides what's the girl, the ballet?
Yeah, look, Harry is a very professional athlete. I love the way he goes about the sport. We actually know Harry, grew up in the same area and actually started training in the same gym back in our early days, gym in Lilydale. So absolutely awesome to see him get the reward for all his hard work and dedication over the years. Bringing back a medal is just amazing. I'm sure he wanted gold, but any medal at that level is just an amazing achievement. Right. So the good thing for him, I suppose, is he doesn't have to make the decision if he wants to stay amateur or go professional. The way the rules are now, he can probably most likely do both. So I'd like to see him go into the professional game now, get some more experience under his belt, and just get the atmosphere of a professional fight is just amazing. It's something I'm sure he wants to do. But then hopefully he sticks around and can go to the 2024 games and change the colour of that medal and hopefully bring home gold. That would just be unreal, and I'm sure that's still his goal. So hopefully he does that.
And guys, one question I'm keen to ask you: you guys have both done it. What's it like headlining a show in the US? It's every fighter's dream. Yeah. You guys have both done it now. What's that feeling like? And what sort of kick and everything do you get from that?
Yeah, it's hard to put into words, I suppose. I mean, that's our dream since we were very, very young, is to headline shows in America, fight for world titles, and be the headline event and on the big billboards over there. Like, it was pretty surreal for me, especially last weekend in Oklahoma, outside the casino. Every billboard just had huge lit up images of myself and Franco, and to be up in the bright lights like that is a sort of pinch yourself moment, and something that we dreamed about for many, many years. And then obviously our fights to be broadcast live back to Australia on Main Event and things like that. This really is, what we dreamed about for so many years. So the hard work's paying off. Unfortunately, I didn't get the result this time around, but we just need to keep working hard and stay dedicated, and we'll make sure those results change next time around.
Yeah, and I'll just add as well, like it was, like Andrew said, it is a pinch yourself moment when you are over there, living out your dream. And we had a mate actually just send us a comment on something on social media, and he said, how proud he was of us and our efforts, and just said, you guys now are the fighters that we used to watch on a Sunday when, going back years ago. So when you read that, you're like, yeah, wow, we are. Like, that was us sitting at home on a Sunday with all your mates around, watching the boxing, idolising these guys. And, you think that they're just so far away, and that sort of, achieving that or being a fighter like that is just impossible, but it's really not. And, we take great pride in fighting on the big stage and flying the Australia flag, and, showing the younger generation that it is possible. And hopefully it inspires guys to, stick to the sport and achieve their dreams.
You definitely are icons and idols for a lot of young kids growing up, that's for sure. Andrew, when we had you on the podcast last time, you said growing up as a kid, your idol was Danny Green. Jason, I'm going to throw this over to you. Who was your idol growing up, and who did you want to be?
Yeah, no, we're exactly the same. Like, being twins, we've got a lot of the same.
Go figure.
When we both started, boxing, it, like, I don't know, Andrew would have said, and we've, told the story, was we really just started because we loved Australian rules footy and wanted to get fitter and wanted to try and become professional footballers. But Danny Green was really the first boxer who we really, took notice of and started to follow and really loved watching him fight. And yeah, he was really our idol, and we loved watching him fight. And, then wind the clock forward, we ended up meeting Greenie in Las Vegas one night and went up and had a chat and asked if we could catch up with him when we got back to Australia and just have a coffee and I guess get some advice off him. And it was incredible. Got back home to Australia and sat down with our idol and, just picked his brain and asked him, where we could go. And he introduced us to our manager now, Tony Tolge, and our trainer now, Angelo Hyder, and really just, I guess, gave us the blueprint of how he was so successful and, made sure we had the right people around us and guide us in the right direction. And even now we speak to Greenie pretty regularly, whether it's on the phone or a text or something like that. And he's always given us his advice and support. And he's an absolute legend and we're very grateful for what he's done for our careers.
Yeah, awesome. You guys are both in hotel quarantine. I think it's the third time you guys have done it during the pandemic. How do you pass the time? What are you guys getting up to? How's this one compared to previous quarantines?
Sparring with each other.
Yeah, that's right. We're veterans of the hotel quarantine now. And I suppose you just got to keep yourself busy and sort of get into a bit of a routine. If you sit around on your bed all day, time goes very, very slow. So we make sure we get up, have a coffee, and then have a good workout. So this morning, put in a good hour or so of training, have a shower, and then have a few interviews like this lined up too, which fills in the day, and then try and catch up with someone for like a FaceTime call, obviously throughout the day with our family, but usually with a mate or other members of our family. Last night we were playing online, and then we had a group FaceTime with our mum and sisters and other family members. So just do things to fill in time like that. It's actually a great opportunity to catch up with people that you probably don't speak to as often as you'd like, and just fill in the day where you can. But yeah, we are definitely looking forward to getting out of here, getting home and seeing our families. It's been another 9 weeks away from them, so another big sacrifice. Both really looking forward to getting out and seeing our young kids. And Jason's got another one on the way soon, so that's exciting for him.
Yeah. Now I know both of you guys are awesome. Congratulations. That's huge. Well done.
Thanks, yeah, can't wait, mate. I've got a next baby due in 3 weeks, so hopefully nothing happens. She doesn't go early, and I'll be home. Get to share a special moment with her, and it's been pretty tough leaving the family for so long again. But as myself and Andrew have shown time and time again, we're willing to do whatever it takes to achieve our dreams, and another big sacrifice that we've had to make.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Now I noticed both of you guys have just hooked up the Cameo. I think on behalf of most of the Carlton Blues supporters, and I believe you boys are them. There should be a Cameo going to the board at the moment saying, can you get your stuff together? Otherwise, Andrew, you're going to go and then punch a few heads. Sort it out. What is going on at the Carlton Blues?
Yeah, we've had a rough 20 years or so. We just quietly, I haven't seen hardly any footy at all this year, so I'm really out the loop. But yeah, I've heard we're not going well recently, so I've made sure I'm not tuning in.
Yeah, what about you, Jason? What's your team?
I actually go for the Sydney Swans, mate.
Yeah, we got one.
I can't be run under that bus. I left Carlton pretty early. I woke up with the realisation that they're no good. And I loved Plugger Lockett and Paul Kelly when I was younger, and I said, no, I'm going for the Swannies.
Oh, very good. Now, we asked Andrew this last time we had him on, so I'm going to ask you this, Jason. What's one of the funniest sledges you've heard around a boxing ring and you thought, you know what, I'll pay that? It can be from a fan or it can be from a fellow fighter.
Actually, I don't know if you saw the video of my weighing this time around, but yeah, as I said, Greer's a bit of a talker. Yeah. And you'll see him sort of saying a few words and then I start laughing. Yeah. And the story behind that one, actually, as most boxers will know, when you're going to make the weight, it involves a bit of dehydration. And I had to have a bit of a bath to just sweat out the last bit of weight. And I got out of the bath and had a shower, and we're walking down to the weigh-in, and I said to the guys, because I had a pretty dry mouth, I said to the guys, and I had a mask on as well, because you got to wear a mask everywhere. I could smell my own breath coming back in my face. And I said to the guys, has anyone got any chewy? My breath stinks. And then no one had chewy anyway. And obviously I couldn't have anything to drink because I was bang on weight. And I weighed in, and me and Greer were having our face off. And he said a few things to me, something like, "You look too sweet," or something like this. And
here we go.
I can't even remember what I said back, but the next thing he goes is, "Oh, your breath stinks." And I just started laughing. And I just said, "Yeah, I know, mate. Sorry."
Don't worry about the breath, mate. That's not going to knock you out. My fists are. Just worry about that, champ. Don't blink.
Right. So, that's probably one of the more recent sledges. Not a lot. I haven't really fought many guys that actually talk much in the ring, but which he's normally a real talker in the ring, but I didn't get much talk from him on fight night, so he must have known things weren't going his way.
He saw it early on.
Yeah.
Did you guys get an opportunity to catch the Pacquiao fight on Sunday?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that? Watching the legend go around one last time, potentially.
Yeah, potentially one last time. I actually, as soon as the Spence fight was called off and he was given Ugas as the new opponent, I always thought, geez, I think that style was just a bit wrong for Pac-Man, and especially when it's very hard when you've prepared your whole camp for one style and one fighter, and Spence being a southpaw, and then 2 weeks out, have everything's completely turned on you, new opponent, new style and everything. And I just thought maybe Ugas was a bit wrong for Pac-Man. And unfortunately, Father Time finally caught up with Pacquiao by the looks of things. I thought he looked great in the first round, but then that real, speed and intensity and, insane, ferociousness of Pacquiao just seemed to really fizzle out pretty quick, and he just looked a bit slow. His legs weren't quite underneath him, and he lost that foot speed. And it was sort of sad to see, but when you've had such an incredible career and achieved so much, and you're 42 years old, unfortunately it comes a time when you got to give it away. And I do hope that was probably the last we see of Pac-Man, because he's had just an unbelievable career, and you hate to see guys that just hold on for too long and diminish their legacy. So I hope he does walk away and should be proud of what he's achieved in the sport. It's been incredible to watch.
Yeah, he's definitely a legend of the sport, and he's done a lot for it. Speaking of the sport, let's go back to over here in Australia. There's a lot of up-and-coming promising fighters who are really starting to make their own, mark on the sport themselves. Like young Tim Tszyu and Brock Jarvis coming through the ranks as well. Brock himself won quite a few titles himself. Is there anyone out there that you've got your eye on that you look at and go, yeah, this kid's got it?
There's a lot. There's so many good fighters in Australia right now. I really feel like Australian boxing is in such a great place, and hopefully that continues, and hopefully some of these great fighters that are around at the moment can win world titles, and we can really help together grow the sport in Australia and start to give it the attention I believe it deserves. And we can have some huge shows in Australia, and hopefully crowds are allowed back, and international travel comes, and we can start to put on some huge events, because the guys like you mentioned, Tim, Brock, Liam Wilson, Liam Paro,
George
Kambosos. There's just so many that are all sort of basically on the edge of fighting for world title in the next sort of 6 months or so. And if we can get some world titles to Australia, or even put on an event with multiple guys fighting for world titles, it's just going to be massive. And I really hope we can continue to grow the sport, and everyone starts to get some success and show everyone that you can win at the top level.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think Australian boxing is in an amazing space at the moment. And you're right. There's the opportunity there to bring these world titles to Australia, and for the Australians to go to the US. I think it's a really exciting time.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the more success we have, the more media attention the sport's going to get. And, the sport's just going to keep booming. And, it's very exciting, because obviously we love the sport of boxing, and we just want to see it get the recognition it deserves.
Now, before we wrap it up, one quick last one on another big fight that happened in Australia. Put yourself in these guys' shoes. If you're Justice, are you fighting Paul Gallen before the Olympics or not? Or are you going to the Olympics and going, that's more important to me right now?
Yeah, it was an interesting decision. I'm sure in hindsight, he looks back and perhaps thinks that he should have done things differently. It was great for him to get the profile from the Gallen fight. But, yeah, I mean, I just thought it was always going to be a bit close to the Olympics. Yep. But, yeah, I mean, we don't know the full story behind it all. And obviously they felt that he needed those fights to help his preparation. But, yeah, I mean, it's a long wait for the Olympics to roll around again. And I don't know how many fights they're going to cap on professionals fighting in the Olympics next time around. So, that ship may have sailed. But, yeah, it's really unfortunate because, he was a real medal hope. And obviously, as we said, it was just incredible to see Harry bring home a medal. But if Justice had been able to go over there and he brought back a medal too, then that would have just been incredible for Australian boxing. But yeah, it wasn't to be. And, I hope he's, as long as he's okay with the decision he made, I'm sure he's still got a bright future ahead. So, just stay strong, come back from that. And there should be an exciting future for himself.
All right, guys. I know your time is very precious. So once again, thanks for coming on. It's very much appreciated from the Armchair Champions. And hey, Fitzy, over to you. Where can people find Barking Dog Marketing, mate? How do they get in touch with you?
Mate, just jump on the website, barkingdog.com.au.
And if you're an aspiring sports star, hit him up. He's pretty good. He's got some good people under him. So I can vouch for that. That's for sure. But once again, Jason and Andrew Moloney, thank you very much for coming on, guys, and good luck with the future. And once again, congratulations, Jason, on bringing home the belt. And Andrew, as I said, mate, keep your chin up, mate. You're only making Australia proud, and it won't be long before you're back there going for another belt. So take care, mate, and keep that chin high, eh?
Thanks, mate. Appreciate you having us on. Thanks for killing some of our time in hotel quarantine.
Not a problem.
And, look, thank you, everyone, for your support, and look forward to coming back better next time.
Once again, thank you very much, Andrew and Jason Moloney.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.